Hey guys, welcome to my channel. I'm Jake the Fate, and in this video, I'm going to be doing a review and demo on this Solar E2.6C guitar. Alright, so here I have the Solar guitar, and it's basically a explorer shaped guitar. So I'm going to take this guitar to the workbench, and I'm going to take this guitar apart and show you guys spec by spec what this guitar brings, and then I'm going to give you guys a real quick demo of how this thing sounds, and then give you guys my final thoughts on this guitar. So this guitar is a mahogany body with a maple neck and an ebony fingerboard. The scale length of this guitar is a 24 3/4 of an inch. The fretboard radius, they say it's a 13.78. It's around 14 inches. It's, but it's still pretty flat. You're going into like that shredder territory. So it's really flat. It's real nice and flat. You've got 22 super jumbo nickel frets here. And they're really well rounded over here. As you guys can see right there, very well rounded right there. There's no funny shenanigans going on there. Fret job on this thing is done very well. So there's no inlays on this guitar except for the logo, the Solar logo right here. And honestly, it's very well appealing. Like once you see this, you know it's a Solar guitar. The nut width of this guitar is a 42.4 millimeter. And this neck is a C-shaped neck. And somebody on my comment section recommended me get one of these things. So as you guys can see right there, it's a C-shaped neck right there. And these things are very handy. I got this off of Amazon. It's nothing fancy or crazy, but very handy if you guys are trying to figure out the neck shape size and if you guys are trying to reshape a neck. This thing is very handy. In terms of electronics here, we have a master volume and a master tone and a 3-way selector switch that's over here by this horn. Very convenient for this thing to be down here because I personally love that it's over here. When you're playing, it's easier to just like flick it off. It's not on the way, so if you're strumming hard, you kind of accidentally hit it. Or like on Les Pauls when it's up here, you kind of have to like come up and then come back down real quick. Since it's down here, it's easier for you to just like strum, hit it, go back up. Honestly, I find this very convenient right here. But yeah, so you got the master volume and the master tone, and you can actually coil split these. And I noticed that with this pot, it's very like loose. So I thought it was like the pot was loose itself, or like this wasn't secured on right, but it's the actual shaft itself. You can actually do like a wah effect with this thing, so it's pretty cool. And as you guys can see right there, it's also recessed for the knobs. So that's a cool little feature right there. So what I'm gonna do now is I'm just gonna take off these strings, pull the pickups apart, and show you guys what's under here. So the finish on this guitar is a carbon black matte finish, is what they say. It's like a matte black, which I honestly love because I love matte finishes. This one in particular, it kind of reminds me of like my Dimeback Razorback, where like it kind of like gets a little sticky. You're gonna have to really get in there to like get all the fingerprints off and all the weird gunk. This bridge here, it's a Sung IL bridge, or IL, I don't know how to say it, but I've seen these bridges on most of like Korean or Indonesian guitars, and they're pretty good quality. They're not solid bridges or anything, but they're good quality. They don't rattle or anything. All right, so these pickups here, it's the Duncan Solar pickups, and these pickups, they're pretty good. A lot of people do compare them to like the Duncan design pickups, but they do look nice. They aesthetically look really nice. It's not a super high gloss. You got the black screws with like the black slugs right there. And that's the routing in there. And one thing I had to do for this one over here, I was having a hard time taking that one out. I had to strip it out with this because it wasn't coming out. I don't know if they did a mistake there. You can see there's like 2 holes there, and then that screw was like going into the body. It was like going that way, so it was hard for me to take it out straight out. So it's stripped in. I had to like put the drill in there and just take the whole thing out. But overall, pretty good. As you guys can see, there's conductive painting in there, so you get no feedback. And here too, very nice. And these are direct mounted. There's no pickup rings or anything. So let's take a reading of these pickups and see what they read. The neck position, you have 7.59 K ohms. On the bridge position, you have 14.9. So it's a, it's a medium to high output pickup. It's not anything like super high, like 17 or 18 or something like that. But overall, it's a great pickup because it's an Alnico 5 magnet pickup. So you are going to get that clarity and that punch and that, that good crunch. So the way he designed these pickups is to like vary from different styles of like maybe hard rock or like alternative to like metal, and you can do a lot of stuff with it. The newer guitars that they're making out now, and you know, they make guitars like every week. There's like a new guitar coming out. But the newer guitars, they have the Duncan Solar Plus pickups, which have Alnico 8 magnets in them. And you know, it's borderline ceramic, you know, it's a lot more high output. I'm starting to really enjoy the Alnico 5 magnet pickups. So I'm actually going to start winding my own. Bought a kit with an Alnico 5 magnet to try to make like my own, because I'm usually doing just like ceramic or Alnico 8s or something like very high output, because like that Pasadena pickup on that Machine Gun Kelly guitar and this pickup, I'm starting to really enjoy how these pickups sound. And when you coil split these, on the neck position you have 3.79 k ohms, and on the bridge 7.7 k ohms. I mean, I usually don't coil split my guitars unless if I'm doing something clean. I'll just grab my Strat, but you know, you have a lot of different tonal options on this guitar. So something I really do like on this guitar is the contours over here, especially up here, because this is where your forearm rests. If you're playing sitting down, this is very comfortable instead of having like that square block. So you got this nice comfort cut over here for your forearm. And it's a flat top, it doesn't arc up or anything. So, you know, very nice, very nice. And up here on the headstock, you have the Solar Guitar logo right there. I don't know if that's how it came out of the factory or something happened, but that's how it looks. And you can kind of feel like they put like that decal right there. They put like the clear over it. And then you have the truss rod cover with his logo again right there. Very nice right there. And the headstock shape, it's, oh my God, very nice. Honestly, like it is pretty metal. It's got that pointed headstock, kind of like Jackson Strat style. It's also a reverse headstock, so it's not on top like usually. So it's like down here, pretty cool. But the one thing I wish that they did was, you know, space these out a little bit more, because they're like a little too close. When you go to tune this, you're kind of like hitting the ones next to it. Or like use like smaller machine heads. Like if you're using a winder here, you're gonna be banging up against that. But I'm pretty sure you're not gonna start tuning this thing with like a winder, like start tuning your guitar like that. You know, you just kind of like go like right under it and just start tuning it. All right, so on the back here, you know, everything's just flat, nothing super fancy back here, except for right over here. You got that comfort cut over here on the neck. This is what's going on in the control cavity over here. You know, everything's very nice, you know, put together in there. There's a little dime-sized potentiometer down there. You got the coil split over here. And then you have over here the pickup selector switch all the way up here. So there's like a wire that runs through here, through the pickup cavity down here. One thing that somebody did mention on my previous video, saying that they were having trouble taking this thing out. I find that in most guitars that have this kind of like something like this, or like my Dimeback, Razorback, it's like hard to take these things out. What I usually do is just like I'll grab like a screw and just like kind of like pry it open like that, or like on the side over here with like a flathead screwdriver and just like, you know, like a really tiny one. Usually I'll grab like a screw and try to like pop this open. You know, you're not trying to strip the wood so the screw doesn't go back in, and then, you know, you kind of pry it open and it comes up. Or, you know, sometimes I use like a suction cup, but I can't find mine right now, like a little tiny one. But yeah, you have some conductive paint in there too, and they actually put some foil back here on both of the plates. The strap button's like right back here, right behind the neck. It can't get in the way, but you know, you could move it somewhere else, you know, if you don't use it, then, but it is there. You have a nice matte satin finish, so it's smooth, so it's not glossy where you're like sticking all the time. And then it comes up here to the headstock. Again, it's a very nice looking headstock. And the tuners on this thing, I don't know if you guys can see it on the camera, they're Solar branded tuners. So, you know, they're pretty good tuners, you know, you can't complain. But the guitar does stay in tune, which is a good thing. This is where the jack plate is, right here on the bottom of the guitar over here. You have your other strap button right down here. So very well built guitar, awesome guitar. All I'm gonna do now is clean this thing up a little bit, try to fix this thing, try to take that thing out of there, you know, string it up, and give you guys a quick little demo of how this thing sounds, and give you guys my final thoughts on this guitar. All right, so there it is, the Solar E2.6C. Now these guitars are amazing guitars, the Solar guitars. This is the first guitar that I actually ever played with and owned, and it's one of the more affordable ones, which is pretty insane. And I can already tell that the higher end ones are gonna be amazing. This guitar new goes for around $7.99, and honestly, for the money, it's not bad at all. With that kind of money, you're not gonna be disappointed because this guitar plays amazing, you know, from the pickups to the way it's constructed, stays in tune perfectly. And like I said, I really wish that they did the tuners spaced out a little bit more apart. Kind of have to just basically go like right under it, but you know, it's not that big of a deal. Fret ends on this thing is wow, it's amazing. Just an amazing guitar. And if you guys don't know who Olin England is, he's basically the Jesus Christ of guitar players on YouTube. You know, he started making his own guitars a couple years ago. He's a guitar player himself, so he already knows, you know, what, especially for metal players, you know, he's a metal player, so he knows exactly what to put onto these guitars because he's obviously playing them. There's a video that he went out to Indonesia and he was basically quality inspecting, you know, all the guitars. It goes to show that he really does put his time and effort on each of the guitars. And this one's not one of the higher end guitars, so I can already imagine what those are. But yeah, man, he's got his own YouTube channel and he's funny as hell. He's got a lot of cool content, and he's one of my favorite guitar players, not just because he's into Dimebag, but just because he's an amazing guitar player and he's funny as hell. Go to his YouTube channel and watch his videos. He's amazing. But yeah, very well built guitar. Pickups, honestly, I wish there were a little bit more high output. I did have to like deck it up a little bit because it was a little bit low output. And I know he did design the new Duncan Solars with Alnico 8 magnets. A little bit more high output, but the clarity is always going to be there. And with these pickups, these have Alnico 5s in them, and something I noticed with the Alnico 5 magnets, even with the Machine Gun Kelly guitar, that one has an Alnico 5 in it, there's more of a mid-range to high range to it, so it's very like, you know, punchy. And I'm starting to really enjoy the Alnico 5 pickups. And every single time I want my own pickups, I do either ceramic or like Alnico 2s or something. I'm actually going to start doing Alnico 5s just because I love how these sound, and both times they are amazing. You know, it's an Explorer shaped type guitar, and it's just an amazing guitar. And then the comfort cut over here, so when you're playing like sitting down or something, it's nice, and you know, it's not like squared off. Your forearm rests real nice right here. So you know, it's an overall well built guitar. Highly recommend you guys trying to go out and get one. When I first played it, I was like, the pickups were a little bit too low output, but you know, you kind of have to like get used to it, try to figure out how to make it work. And that's how it is with almost basically every guitar. And I guess it must have just been because, you know, I'm so used to like playing with like ceramic magnet pickups, just very high output, that, you know, kind of challenged me to like try to do something heavy with these kind of pickups. I usually play like in drop C tuning. I used to play a lot in drop D, but I went back to drop D for this little track, and you know, it was heavy, it sounded heavy, and it was just amazing. So I hope you guys found this video useful and helpful if you guys are trying to get one of these, especially if you guys are into metal, especially if you guys, you know, appreciate and love Olin England. These guitars, well built, they're metal machines. Wish it was 24 frets, but you know, you can't complain. Maybe I'll try to get myself another Solar guitar just for myself, or like to do a video on it. It surprised me how really well built these guitars are. And I already kind of knew that from the start, just from like videos and stuff like that. Having it in my hands and actually playing it, it's everything I expected. So if you guys enjoyed this video, like, comment, and subscribe, because this is all I do on this channel. Builds, reviews, wiring stuff. And with that, I'll catch you guys on the next one.